Hello, my name's Rob Bilson. I'm the Grants Manager at the Community Foundation for Calderdale. And I'm going to talk about how to make a grant application to the Community Foundation and what you need to do. We have many different funds throughout a year. And one of the first things to say is always make sure you read the guidance for that fund and understand what it's asking from you and making sure that you meet the criteria. The second thing to say is if at any point you need help or assistance or you have queries or you're not sure what to do, please get in touch with us. We always like to talk to you about your grant application and help you make the best one that you can make. So don't be worried about getting in touch. All of our grant applications are online, so you have to go to our website, which is cffc.co.uk, and the links are on the grants tab to the different funds that we have. Again, make sure that you meet the criteria for the different grant programmes and that you can provide all the information that we need. And if you're uncertain, unsure, and you want to ask a question, get in touch. Most of our grant applications have 4 sections. The first section is all about you and your group, the organisation that's making the application. So we'll ask you to tell us what the name of the group is, where it's based, the address for contact, the email and telephone numbers, and other types of information for your group. The second section is about the project for which you want funding, so the thing that you want the money for. And we'll ask you to tell us what the name of the project is, and we'll ask you to describe what the project's going to do and how you're going to spend any money if we give you a grant. We'll also sometimes ask you, how does this project meet the criteria for the fund that you're applying to? So, as I've said a couple of times, remember to read the guidance to make sure that you can answer those questions. The third section is normally about the difference you're going to make, the impact that your project will have on the people or the areas that you're trying to support. And you'll be asked to tell us about the different beneficiaries, what types of people they are, and how you're going to make a difference and how you're going to measure that. Now, many times the different grant programmes that we have will have information in the guidance about what we're trying to achieve with the fund. So you answering the question section 3, you need to know how your project is going to meet those outcomes that we're looking for. So have a read of the guidance. Again, if you're not sure, get in touch with us. Generally, section 4 is about money. That's where we ask you to tell us what you're going to spend the grant on and ask you to break it down into different sections. So that might be staffing costs, operational costs, capital costs, costs for volunteers, etc. You can spend your grant on many things. If you're uncertain again, just get in touch to make sure that you can spend the money on what you want to spend it on. But generally, it's most things. After you've completed that, all those 4 sections, then you'll need to think about documentation. We ask all groups to send us their constitutions or your memorandum articles of association, depending on what type of group you are, the rules that govern your organisation. So we'll want to see those. And if you're a registered charity or a registered community interest company or some other organisation that is registered, we'll ask you for information, your charity number, your company number, etc. We'll also ask to see a list of your committee. This is so that we know that it's run by local people, because obviously we're a community foundation for Calderdale and we want to support the efforts of local people. We also ask you to send in a copy of your last accounts. We expect organisations to be able to show that they can manage money And whilst you don't have to always do a complete audit, we do expect that you'll have had your books looked at by an independent person. So we'll ask to see that. You also have to send in a copy of your most recent bank account so that we know that we're paying any grant money into a viable account. There's a number of other things that we ask you to do as well. If you're working with vulnerable people or children, we will expect you to have a safeguarding policy. So we will ask you to put that in as one of the documents. We expect safeguarding policies to meet certain criteria. So we'll read your safeguarding policy, and if it doesn't meet those criteria, we will be in touch with you to ask you to make amendments. And depending on the grant programme you've applied to, there may be other things as well. We might ask you to show that you've got public liability insurance, for example. All of these documents can be attached to your application before you submit it, or if you're not able to do that, we ask you to email them to us. Now, all the grant programmes that we manage have a different deadline. You'll see on the website when that deadline is. We ask that you fill in the application form and send the documentation you need by the deadline. So please remember to do that. Again, if you're not able to do that, please get in touch with us and tell us what the problem is, and we can work something out. We want to help you make your application. As you go along completing the application form, remember to save it. The application form is not an auto-save document. So I always say to people, every 5 or 10 minutes as you're completing the form, go to the end of the form and click the save button. That means that you can leave the form if you partially completed and complete it later by clicking on the link that you get with the email. If you don't save the form and for some reason you have to break off and your computer shuts down, then you'll have lost any work you've done. So it's important to please save your work as you go on. To contact us, please telephone 01422 349 700 or email us at grants@cffc.co.uk. As I said at the beginning, and I'm going to repeat, always read the guidance, okay? And if you have any questions or queries, please get in touch with us. We really want to hear from you and discuss your project and make sure that we can give you all the help you need. You can also get help from the VSI Alliance, who are based on Hall Road in Halifax. Now, they are there to support voluntary groups and charities and community interest companies. So if you need to contact them for any help with your application or any aspect of the work you do, get in touch with them at info@vsialliance.org.uk. Thank you.